Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Prairie Banana over on Pulse Chain, home of pTGC and UFO, the two index tokens of the entire chain. The two assets that you need to hold, at least one of assets you need to hold on Pulse Chain because they give you exposure to the best assets on Pulse Chain, the most promising assets, or Richard Hardcore assets, X Pulse, PulseX, Inc., ProveX, and let me show you the chart, the pTGC ProveX chart. Look how we're performing for the last 3 days against ProveX. Isn't that beautiful? So if you hold pTGC or UFO or both, you have exposure to this right here. What is it? pTGC moving up against Pulse. All this chart has to do, all pTGC needs to do is a 10% move, and it would have been better to hold pTGC than ProveX. But it's a bonded liquidity pairing. Let me make sure I can connect on my. Oh, we're going to do Twitter Spaces. In case you didn't know, we are doing a Twitter Spaces. That's what we do every Saturday. That's why we're here. We have the founder on and many other community members, and we have a conversation about the Grays currencies, pTGC, Pulse, the Grays currencies. See the logo? I think it's this way, right? That's what we talk about, and it's a blast, and I'm glad you're here. Let me see if I can get in. Yeah, the space is being recorded. I accept. Yay. Good morning.
What's up, Banana?
I'm doing good. It's a sunny, almost summer morning over here.
Yeah, it's pretty hot where I am too. It's pretty wild. I
Really?
actually love it though.
Ooh, we're supposed to have.
It's like summertime.
Yeah, we're supposed to have like almost 70 today, and then back into the 50s tomorrow. But yeah, it's been really warm. Like as mild as our winter was, and as warm as it is already in March. It's pretty telling that our summer's probably going to be roasting.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for a hot summer. I like hot weather way more than cold weather.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me too. Mild is best, but I'll taking one over the other anymore. It used to be I'd prefer cold weather, not no more. I'll take hot. I'll take hot. People are coming into YouTube. Good morning, Walter. Good morning, Kurt. Well, we had a week, didn't we? I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know, is there anything newsworthy to talk about in crypto?
I think the number 2 holder conversation was pretty interesting.
The number 2 holder of what?
ProveX.
Yeah, okay.
You know, what they're LPing with, the discussion of how that would affect us either way things go.
Right.
The reason why I think it's such a good conversation is a lot of things within cryptocurrency are just completely out of your control, right? Like There's just nothing you can do about certain things. And really, whoever that user is, it's their own personal value. They can do whatever they want. And I saw within a short amount of time, people that were really excited about ProveX switched to upset about this certain situation. And then I kind of sat back and I'm just like, wow, pTGC, anything that plays out, we usually have a way to at least pivot due to that circumstance, right? Or in this situation, we didn't even need the pivot. It just kind of, our system can just work with it, and we can actually generate a lot off of what these people do. So this like new ProveX situation, they bonded with Hex, eHex to be exact, PDI, and Inc. And some people are super confused. Some people think, oh, price is going to go down now on ProveX and bring those tokens down. Some people are going to say, still saying like, oh, they still think ProveX is going to move without Pulse and Pulse X and PHEX. And I just look at like, whatever happens, our exposure right now seems to be enough. We could obviously get a little bit more if we go on a discount, but we win so hard if these users are right, if it is go time, right? Even if it's not go time for all of Richard's tickers, if it's just go time for a few, we don't need to guess which one is the one that's going to move, which one's going to get left behind. If all of them are going to move, we don't even have to like be in the situation to where like we can be in pTGC, but then we miss out on gains of Pulse Chain. If Pulse Chain makes gains, we get to reap all those rewards. But then if we do our own gains in the meantime, we reap those rewards as well.
Yeah, I like how pTGC is set up. And Charles, do your own research, says ProveX looks like it's heading for another strong leg up. He expects it. He expects our LP to double or triple or rather quickly, and then to do it again and again and again.
Based on what? If ProveX keeps moving up, then that will naturally become a larger LP pool.
Yeah.
Because when a specific token moves up, that specific LP pool grows and grows and grows. And then it will have more impact over our system as it grows. This is just what you want to happen. As one thing successful, you want it to have more impact. If things not successful, it's going down, it will have less and less impact. I haven't talked about that in a long time. I call it the alpha pool. Naturally, it's like natural selection of your liquidity web. The good tokens, if you're not adding to tokens constantly, the good tokens will naturally become your biggest LPs, and the bad tokens will naturally become your smallest LPs. That's what you would want anyways. Why wouldn't you want your biggest tokens to be your best and your worst tokens to be your smallest?
Yes. Yep.
That's one really nice thing that, we learned from what happened with us with PDI, Zen. Having such a massive alpha pool and then being able to everybody witness what happens when you have an alpha pool that dies.
Yeah, I think you pretty much saw worst case scenario with PDI too. The fall it had in such a short amount of time. Like, I don't think with our large pairings you could expect anything worse than that.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's almost impossible.
Yeah, it fell in matters of like one day, like hard. I think it was like a 90-something% dip in a matter of a day.
Yep. Difficult to predict. Impossible. Well, maybe not impossible, but very improbable to predict what happened.
Well, and luckily now we're already in those 90% dips. They're just more drawn out. So if you look at from where we are today, you're like, do you think you're getting those 90% dips from these prices? Obviously, anything's possible, like you said, but the risk to reward from these levels, the growth that we can have from these levels are by far more likely.
Yeah.
Jen, do we have multiple buy and burns this week from the Dow?
We've had one buy and burn this week from the Dow on Thursday. The other buy that we did was just to put it to the side for the payout at the end of this month.
All good, man. It's all volume and activity.
How much did we burn?
It was like 9 million pTGC. I think it was like $1,300. We spent 150 million PLS.
Okay.
So that's another thing, Prairie. Obviously the Dow is good at buying the asset off the market at lows.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have a second reason to buy it at Lowe's, because you always want to be refilling for paying out rewards. And those movements, those are great movements, man. So,
what do you mean the movements? The downward movements, so we can scoop up cheap tokens?
Well, when you send out rewards, Zen, those rewards create activity on the chart, because those payouts are actually generating transactions that the fees get kicked out, correct?
Yes, when we reward, or even when we buy those rewards. So when we buy the rewards, we're triggering the 5% fee. When we send the rewards, we're triggering the 5% fee.
And then if they choose to sell rewards, they're triggering the 5% fee. So it's just triggering fees everywhere. You gotta love it.
Yep.
And if they even got rewards, they triggered a 5% fee from someone buying.
Yeah.
And arbitrage bots after that.
There's value all over the place in the Grays ecosystem. $8,000 went to the Dow just this week in the past 7 days. $8,000. $2,000 was added LP. $2,000 burnt tokens. We paid a total of $8,000 to holders and stakers. And that's all automatic. Nobody needed to trigger anything, except like the reward system is a human trigger, but the ones that I'm looking at and showing on ptgc-ufo.com are all automatic. Every time that contract fires, those numbers tick up. It's pretty sweet. Strengthening the system, rewarding holders, reducing supply, all of it is happening automatically. It's incredible.
Yeah, so we've had a little bit of a light buy and burn day today. Volume's a little bit down compared to where we've been. We're at 45 in volume, which isn't bad. I think that's bottom line of where we want to stay. But in the last week, we've been able to buy and burn $7,000 worth, which is on average $1,000 a day. The 30-day, we're at $34,000 a day, so slightly up from $1,000 a day. And on 90 days, we're at $105,000 a day. So we're buying and burning a little bit more than $1,000 a day on average at the bottom. So those quantity of tokens hopefully are a lot more in the future.
Right. I mean, I'm in the shoes of somebody that's like, okay, we burned 9 million. Was it 9 million pTGC or 19 million?
In which time frame?
Well, in the last week, the Dow, I think, burned 9 million tokens, right?
Yes. Yeah, the total amount of burn in the last week is 50 million, but that's including UFO and pTGC's contract as well.
Got it. But, you think, the Dow, it burned 9 million tokens. You're like, what's 9 million tokens? Well, the older you get, the more you realize that success in life is oftentimes doing small things regularly, like the Dow burning small quantities of pTGC regularly. It adds up. It's like dollar cost average. Everybody raves about it. Why? Because it's impactful. Buying small quantities of tokens regularly over time really adds up. And it's the same principle with burning tokens. And really, 9 million tokens one day, like you implied, they could be worth something. We'll look back and think, wow, we literally burned 9, whatever, maybe, I don't know, if they're $1 each, let's say, we burned $9 million worth of tokens, potentially. That's amazing, man. Like $9 million. Shoot.
Yeah, if you look at the token quantities, right, like at these cheap prices, and you believe, a year from now or 2 years from now, that we're going to be hundreds of X's higher. You can do the math of what a $1,000 fine burn a day could technically be a day after 100X. That technically is $100,000 of fine burn pressure every single day. But it's all just a part of the process.
Yeah. All about passive income asks, not financial advice, but what's a good amount of tokens to have? We have recommended a just-in-case bag in the past. We still recommend that, which is 1 million tokens, which is right now, what's 1 million tokens? About $140. Yeah, about a little more than $140, 1 million tokens. But
I think it depends, Prairie, on. I think it's more individualistic than that.
It is.
I think that the answer is better answered if you ask the person, are you on Pulse Chain with a portfolio? If it's somebody who is just on ETH or somewhere else, but if you're on Pulse Chain and somebody asks, how much should I have? Well, then the second question is, well, what do you have on Pulse Chain? And how's that performing for you? Because the bottom line is you're on Pulse Chain to make money for your family. How are your investments doing on the chain compared to pTGC? Zoom out. If you're in the cores, you're wrecked.
Yeah.
You're absolutely wrecked. So you would have been better to be 100% in pTGC.
Yep.
So with that in mind, how do you answer your own question? How much should you have? As much as you think you need.
Yep. I mean, do you got a family? Are you employed? What's your cost of living in your area where you live or where you want to live? There's a lot of factors.
No, it's just like, let's say somebody has, Prairie, like 10 grand on Pulse Chain, and they've got 50, 80% in the cores, and maybe they're shit coining with 20%. Well, this opportunity with pTGC, it's not going to be here forever. The only way that pTGC goes down past where we went before is if this whole chain implodes, in my opinion. Every credible person, including myself, but just looking at TA, looking at where we already are in terms of the market cycle for Bitcoin, we're already basically halfway through the bear market. What's a better asset on Pulse Chain than pTGC? Your Pulse Chain sure the hell ain't better. X ain't better. Ink ain't better. So,
well, ProveX is temporarily better. Is that not right?
No, it's not, Prairie. Give me a freaking break, dude.
I was stirring the pot.
Give me a break, bro. And Charles, he's like, oh, it looks like it's going for a second leg. Have you seen the volume? I mean, I'm not, I don't want to talk bad about it. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people just look at a chart, but they're not paying attention to reality. Go ahead.
So I think that topic that you brought up is very important for everyone to kind of ask themselves, Mando, because we are technically in cycle 2 right now. And everyone could kind of say, well, how did I do in cycle 1? There was winners in cycle 1. Like Pulse Chain didn't really do much. Maybe if you bought the exact bottom and sold the exact top, you could have gotten a 5x on Pulse Chain as a whole. But there was serious winners on chain. Like if you were a good meme coiner or a degen guy, you could have made gains on just small micro cap flips. Or if you're someone who is kind of hunting down the top tier alts on the chain, pTGC, some of the other like tokens that did a lot of X's, like I think you could even put PDI in that mix. If you were someone who exposed yourselves to those strong narratives or strong ecosystems or strong communities, you could have made tons of gains. So you can almost ask yourself, like, did I do really well last cycle or did I not? If you did not, you kind of need to ask, well, why didn't I? Did I meme coin and I'm just not good at it? Well, then maybe you either need to brush up your skills or just don't do it whatsoever, because there's a lot of people who aren't good at it and just lose money in that space. If you're someone who just held tokens that were not doing much and you hope someone pumped those bags for you and it just never happens, well, are you going to do that again this next cycle? Because right now we're in cycle 2. Everything is down 90-95%. You got a complete reset on the whole entire ecosystem, and you have the choice again. How are you going to run this cycle? What I do know is everyone who took advantage of the 95% dips on pTGC last cycle killed it. They actually didn't even need to do anything. All they had to do was rotate into pTGC at the lows of the market and then hodl. You literally just turn off your computer, step away for a few months, spend time with your family, spend time with your friends, focus on your in real life work. You don't need the doom scroll. And sorry, I need to do something with my son real quick. But if you didn't do super well last cycle, see what you need to change. I think pTGC is a very legitimate solution for most people, because most people do struggle in getting gains in this space.
Well, I think the caveat to what I was saying with Prairie is, if you're on Pulse Chain, and it really is an important caveat, if you're on Pulse Chain, okay, there is not a better asset that lives on the Pulse Chain blockchain than the Grace currency. It has outperformed all of the cores. It has outperformed pretty much everything. It's way outside of its proof of concept at this point. It's making $100,000 a month in pure profits for its holders at all-time lows in terms of price and all-time lows in terms of volume. So if you ask the question, how much should I have? Well, I think you need to invert. Like, how much Pulse Chain should you have? How much of the dumb pipe should you own versus the Apex killer app, performance amplifier on the blockchain? That's really
zero.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Why would you own it? Are you earning APY? Are you getting passive income? No. With Hex, you got to lock it up forever, and there's no APY there anymore. So the narrative on Pulse Chain is that it's almost as if Pulse Chain exists for the Grace currency to exist.
Yeah.
And if any of these things run, you have exposure to those things by proxy because of the genius engineering of how this cryptocurrency is designed, being an index of everything on the chain. So what's the point of owning anything else from that vantage point? I'm not saying you can't own anything else. I'm just saying, if you're honestly looking for an investment on Pulse Chain, there is not a better opportunity than pTGC, in my opinion, right now. And it's not just hearsay. It's almost 3 years of real information and KPIs. So
if you take out tickers and just literally look at it from a blind slate and just say you're in cryptocurrency, like just throw out pTGC, throw out ProveX, throw out all that stuff. The best thing that I could have ever done at 29 years, actually 28 years old, 27, 28 years old, was to look back. And this is what, Zen just said, is I look back and see what you did wrong last market. That was probably in 2018 and 19 was probably the most important thing that I have done financially in my life, was to look back and say, what did I do wrong in 2017? Because I didn't have that much money at that time. But I made my first 6 figures at the age of 28, 29 through crypto and lost most of it. So as many people did in 2017. But everything that I bought in 2013, everything that I bought 2017, 13 to 16, 17, all got wiped away. So what happened was I went back and said, okay, this went well. This went well. This went bad. This is who I listened to. And this was my result. That's simple. It had nothing to do with tickers. It didn't blame anybody. It was self-accountability because I looked at what I did wrong. Point blank. There was no blame. There was no nothing. It was just strictly what did I do wrong. So I spent a year and a half figuring that out and then absolutely change what I did. If I did not change what I did, I would just be pure, you could say gambling, or you could just say I was insane at one point in time.
Yeah, it's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, it's the definition of insanity, expecting something different. So you have that, and Hexicans, Pulsicans, ProveX, I don't care whatever you want to say, throw out the ticker.
Yeah.
If you are repeating the exact same results or the exact same behaviors, exact same behaviors as you did last time, expecting for a different answer, you will get wrecked again because you have not fixed what went wrong in the last bear market and you're expecting different results. If you have been in crypto since 2017 and you do not have at least $1 million net worth in crypto, you are insane because you have not fixed. You've had 3 bull markets. You have not fixed what you are doing wrong. Maybe you're gambling too much. And like Zen said, maybe you need to brush up on your skills and figure out what you are doing wrong. Maybe you're listening to the wrong people. Maybe you're just a gambler and you just can't take profit because you keep gambling and keep putting it into the casino without ever taking and putting chips in your pocket after you're up $100,000, blah, 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 blah. That's you as an individual. So if you do not, in my opinion, do not have at least $1 million net worth since you've been here in 2017, you are insane, you are crazy, you're probably not going to make it, and that's just the truth. And you can make it elsewhere, but just not in crypto. It's just not for you. Now you're coming up. A lot of you have been in here since 2021, 2020. So you're actually coming up on your seasoned next bull market. You better have at least $1 million net worth. So all those people in 2017, now they should have that $1 million net worth. They had 3 bull markets basically coming on a 3rd bull market to get that net worth. And if you made 1,000 into 100,000, and then you put 100,000 into a 10x, and you got $1 million, you're that millionaire. But you're coming up on a pretty serious bull market that's going to make or break you. And if you have not changed your mindset from the last bear market to this bull market, you are going to be the guy that I call stupid, insane, idiot, not going to make it next bear bull market. You know why? Because you've been officially in 3 bull markets after that. So you become that idiot. You get 1 learning lesson, then you make gains, then you make fucking life-changing gains for everybody in your family. That's usually how it works in crypto. You have 1 learning lesson, and the real people in the house say, okay, I did this wrong, this is what I'm going to do this time. And then you hit, and some people hit big, big, big. Like on my second time, I hit big, 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 big. Not everyone hits big, 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 but they hit. Majority of people hit on their second time because they finally, I got it, now I got it. So they hit on that second time. And maybe it's not the big, big, big hit, but that 3rd time is usually the big, big hit because you got your stripes. You've been in the game for a while. You know what's going on. You know what to look out for. You get it. You get a pass the first time. The second time, you probably shouldn't get a pass. The 3rd time, you should be freaking knowing what's going on in this space by then. So here's the situation. for those, now let's put some tickers back into place. For those who are in Hex, you get a pass. And your pass was pulse chain. But then you didn't hit there. So you wrecked on Hex. You didn't learn your lesson, but you went and, all right, well, I'm going to go this route. And, I'm going to go the pulse chain route. I'm going to go on some coins, or I'm not going to go on some coins. That was your secondary thing to mess up. If you decide to stay with Richard Hart, you had an opportunity to still change your game plan, because hodling for 15 years, blah, 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 was not working, and it didn't work. Obviously, you went down 99.9%. So that didn't work out. So if you took with that same mindset this time around and it didn't work out, that's your fault that you didn't hit. All you had to do was tweak it a little bit and just invest in some coins outside of the within the ecosystem, but outside the ecosystem, outside of the echo chamber, and you would have hit. It didn't take much. Everybody was talking about it. It wasn't many coins. Teddy Bear, die, pTGC, solid. Like that's it. Yeah. So the problem is they didn't hit the second time. And these dum-dums are doing it a third time. It's like, bro, you guys are freaking retarded. Like, what can I do? Like, you can't freaking, say it enough where you're just like, what are you doing?
How are they doing it a third time?
At least change it up with a little portion of your portfolio. Get a feeling how it feels to win. But what's happening is they're chasing.
Barry asked a good question of you.
Oh, go ahead.
He asked a good question of you. He said, and it's a great question.
Yeah.
He said, how are they repeating that mistake a third time? How are they, technically, what are they doing to repeat? All
right. So Hex is the original Hex 2020 is the first time. So you either bought the top and then you just believe that he's going to come through. That's your first mistake. You bought the top. In 2013, like 2017, I bought lows and rode it up, but rode it all back down. Just like you bought the top and you wrote it down. First mistake. Now as an individual, when you buy a top and it's over, the chances are, and I've spilled out these statistics. Once you've had a bull market, the chances of you creating a new all-time high is so small it's not even funny. It is 12 coins in the history of all crypto. There's millions of coins out there. 12 coins have created a new all-time high after the previous crazy run-up in the previous cycle. 12. So I was yelling at the top of my lungs that Hex will not create a new all-time high in the next bull market. I've got videos out there saying that. It's called The Laws of Meme Coins. Probably one of my most watched videos ever. And I talk about this in an hour-long video that even people not even in this ecosystem are still talking about. Because it's so much alpha, it's not even funny in that video. I don't have that video anymore because people don't deserve that much alpha for free. It's ridiculous. But I gave it away for free because I was learning also when I said, this is what I did, how I hit big. And this is how I did it. And I just let it out. I was bored. I just let it out and gave everyone the alpha. So you fucked up in Hex the first time. That's okay. You get a pass. If you were in Hex in the beginning, you staked 15 years, you fucked up. You get a pass. You saw millions of dollars in your wallet, but you couldn't do anything with it. You get a pass. The second time was sacrificing that for Pulse Chain. Here is the fuck up. You are doing the same thing that you thought was going to happen with Hex, knowing that shit ain't going to go, but it didn't go. But the real true reason to win was not to just buy Pulse Chain and hold it forever. No. That wasn't the real reason how to win. The real reason how to win was actually to go out and just Pulse Chain's a layer one. Be
active on the chain.
Be active. Yes, be active on the chain. That was the answer. But here's the thing. Richard Hart's motto of buy and hold and you will win was not the answer even for Hex, because you have to sell. You have to take profits. All the people that you guys love, all these Hexicans that are still around, they did not take any profits. They are begging for money. They are asking you to raise money. Oh, there's a lawyer knocking on my door for the SEC. Can you please donate to me? Why are you getting donated money? You should have money. You're a millionaire, right? I thought you were retired, right? No. It's all freaking games. So if you think the answer is buy and hold and not take profits, you didn't learn a lesson from the first time. So you literally did the exact same thing. You didn't participate. That's number one. You didn't take any profits because you had a chance to take profits on your money. You didn't sell at a 2 or a 3x when you could have because you got too greedy and thought it was going to be more. That was number two. What do I always say? Anytime you get like a 2 to 5x, take your profits, take your initials out, and then you're riding on the house money. That was all part of the laws of meme coins that was released in 2020. So no one did that. So if you are seriously sitting here in PulseX, in Pulse, in Ink, and you wrote it up and didn't take any profits, you're insane. If you were in Hex and didn't take any profits, and then you got in Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Ink, and didn't take profits and held, you are insane. You expect different results with the same actions. You are insane. Then you come and sacrifice your money again for ProveX. And if you haven't taken any profits, because you all fucking put your money with Buck, so you're up 2, 3, 4, 5x. If you haven't taken profits in the last 2 weeks, you're retarded. You're insane because you haven't learned a thing. So if you were in Hex and got wrecked in Hex, and then you didn't take any profits on Pulse Chain, and you have yet to take profits in the last 2 weeks, it's not meant for you. You're probably not going to make it because you're depending on a man. And this is the reality. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are hate me say this, but I don't care. You're depending on a man that doesn't really care when it comes to you as an individual.
That's 100% fact.
You need to look out for you. You didn't join crypto. Now, don't get me wrong. Community is everything. Don't get me wrong. I said community is everything. You need a bunch of people to hold. You need people to gather together, be all one, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I'll give an example. Prairie, I'm sorry, bro. I am not going to pay for your mortgage. Vice versa. Prairie, yeah. I don't expect you to pay for this new house that I'm building, bro. I don't expect you to do that. But guess who is expecting me? My wife, my kids. Yep. They're not looking at Prairie to pay my bills.
Uh-huh.
They're looking at me. So you as an individual, no matter what your age is, maybe you want to pay for your parents or something. Maybe whatever your goals is, write that shit down. Write it down on a piece of paper. I don't know what your goal is. You might be 22 years old in college and be like, oh, fuck, I just want more money. I want to be a millionaire. Cool, that's your goal. Maybe you want to pay off your college bills. Cool, that's it. Maybe you got a car loan that's kicking your ass. You want to pay that off. Cool. But if you have the ability to pay it off, but you're too insane to take any profits to pay it off because you think it's going to turn into another 10x, and then you get this low lip dick freaking pump, and you had the opportunity to take profits and you didn't, and you expect different results after being wrecked not once, not twice, but this is the third time you potentially could get wrecked. That's you as the individual.
He's preaching.
You had not one time, you had not 2 times, you actually had 3 times already, and you're already starting this quote unquote bull bear or however you want to say it, not in the right direction. So at the end of the day, it is a PvP game, and it will always be a PvP game. It's that simple. pTGC is very PvP. Hex is PvP. Pulse Chain's PvP. Bitcoin PvP. The stock market PvP. The housing market PvP. the freaking car market, PvP. Someone's going to be the last person to buy that car, and as soon as they drive off the lot, transmission breaks down. PvP.
Yeah. Yep.
Point blank. Life is PvP. If you think you're going to heaven because your significant other's going to heaven, PvP. so when it comes down to it, you literally do have to look out for yourself. And when Zen said that, it just really clicked in my head as a reminder, like, damn, like, really, when you think about it, it's been 6 years for Hex the last time people saw real gains.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to those people who saw real gains and they're still here and they're truly not retired, there's very few people. Most of them are actually in the background. This is the truth. When it comes to Hex and Pulse Chains and all the group of people, the people you think that have money, they actually don't. It's that simple. They don't. If you've seen them beg for money, they don't. If you've seen them launch meme coins trying to find a way to do it, they don't. If you see them like, oh, I'm retired from Hex, they're not. Because all the people that I heard that were retired from Hex either asked for money or launching coins or shilling coins and basically robbing people.
Yeah.
These are facts. This is the reality. So crypto is full of gullible people. This is like probably the most gullible community I have known, because anybody on any other blockchain would not sacrifice twice.
Yeah.
And if you did,
actually a third time.
And if you did, you would actually take profits at least the third time. So you can at least feel a win, because you're just getting kicked in the nuts. Kicked in the nuts. Pow, 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 one at the other. And I'm like, when will these people learn? Ready for this? If you rode pTGC all the way up the top and didn't take any profit, that's mistake number one. When it goes back up, take some profit. Or be like, hey, I'm cool not taking profit. I'm just going to shave off the top of the yield that I make, and that's how I'm going to. Cool. You know what? That's a plan. And every time you're taking out, you're winning, and you're slowly winning over time. So that's your goal. That's your thing. That is taking profits.
Yep.
But you have to learn that from the first time to the second time. I'll give you a pass. You get a pass. If this is your first year, you have a pass. If you sacrifice the Pulse Chain and this is your first year, you actually have a pass. But if you don't learn from that pass, and you even have the hexagons from the previous pass, but this was your first time, you're like, okay, now I kind of see what's going on. I know who to listen to. I know who's still here. I see Moon King getting gains. I see Moon King get wrecked on some shit, but I also see Moon King getting gains. So, like, he must be doing something right. Somni, like, hey, if you want to look at him for the news, look at him for the news. That's cool. Like, he gives me all the news. But if you think he's the man to be listened to for gains, you're insane. Because the dude hasn't shielded a freaking 10x since I've heard of the guy. So why are you desperately listening to this guy for gains if he hasn't have any proof of gains? Figure out who you're listening to. I've had so many people this year say, Moon King, why did you unfollow me? I mean, we're friends, right? Yeah, we're friends. But I don't want my feed full of BS, because I'm here for one reason only, is to make gains to 10x my life every bull market. So I deleted like 400 people. And I know people are like, well, he's an asshole. He would. I even had some subscribers leave because I deleted them. And I was like, it's fine. It's good, bro. Like, I make my money from crypto, not necessarily from my subscribers. Like, I make good money with subscribers, but it's really crypto that I make the most money. It's fine. No emotional status. But that is me not caring about what the other person think. And if they make it personal, then it's fine. That's on them. That's their fault. But every bull market I go in, I just delete. Did you do anything for me this bull market? Nope, delete. Did you give me some type of alpha, whether it's life alpha or whether it's crypto alpha? It's just something. Did you do anything for delete? And you know why? Because that person, their mind's not in the right spot. So what they're doing is they're scrolling on Twitter. They're not even in mind, right? They're scrolling. Oh, look at this. I'm going to type on this. And then guess what shows up in your feed? The shit that they're looking at. Because you're following them and the algorithm thinks you like what they follow. So therefore, it suggests this to you and your mind's not even in the right spot. You're here for crypto and you're looking at fucking Donald Trump going to war in Iran.
Right. Yep. All
and
distracted.
You're looking at a bunch of fucking females flirting their tits on OnlyFans. And you realize, fuck, I just missed another call. I never heard about that. Wait, what's the narrative going on in crypto right now? I don't know. Well, I wonder why you don't know. Because your feed's just totally hiding all that stuff. So your mindset needs to get right.
Let me just put this out there, because it's important to recognize where we are in a market cycle, whatever blockchain you're living on, and what are the very important action steps right now in this part of the time frame, this part of the timeline, that the winners are actually doing right now, as opposed to just the willy-nilly, no plan, no strategic thinking people, right? If you're living on Pulse Chain only and you don't have a plan, if you're not being strategic with your portfolio on Pulse Chain, you're absolutely insane. Because if you think the cores are going to save you, you're insane. You're insane. Now,
they didn't save them once, but you think it's going to save you a second time. And here's the crazy thing is, pTGC doesn't need Pulse Chain to go back to all-time highs. We're already going back up, and it's not Pulse Chain hasn't even moved. It's still sitting at freaking 5 zeros, 4 zeros and a 1, whatever. Just down. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about?
That's what I was going to say. So let's go back to when pTGC launched, and I'm just going to start at 100,000 market cap. Fair launch. Could have got in, could wait a week, could put it at $1 million market cap, but at 100,000 market cap, the system is currently up.
Real quick, do you remember the market cap when I went on Shill Tank?
It was 150,000, I believe, maybe less.
Yeah, it was right there.
I remember going also. I also remember going on live stream, which I play in my videos. It was sitting at 200,000. I said, "Hey, this thing's going to dip, maybe 150,000." So it was like a week of like talking about it for sure, and like everyone wants to say, "Well, everyone got airdrop coins." It's like, bro, you could have gotten it at $100,000 market cap. Like, what? Like, why are you finding excuses for yourself not to buy? Yes, when you get 100K, like $1,000 is 1%. How many coins is 1% right
now? Supply?
2.89 billion after
2.89 billion. Let's just say 3 billion. How much coins are in the freaking liquidity pool to buy right now?
Like 3%.
Like 10 billion.
So you're telling me that person could have paid $3,000 and had that amount? How much is 10 billion worth right now? $3,000 at that time. How much is 10 billion worth
right now?
Over $1 million.
See how things work.
So what I was going to say is that even down currently like 90-something% from the previous all-time high, the Gray's token is still up 400x from when we started talking about it.
How much was 10 billion at the all-time high?
Oh man,
that'll make people drop
10
their
billion
jaws.
times
That'll make people
0013.
that'll make
10
people
billion
drop their jaws.
times 0.13.
It's probably close to 10 million, 10, 15 million, 15 million.
13 million. Wow.
And the thing, the interesting thing is that Dre's right now is adding new users from new money coming in. It's constantly doing it's constantly adding everything these people on chain are speculating on into its own liquidity web as a new revenue stream, as a new revenue center. It has a checkmate on the entire system. Anything new that comes to the chain that's worth anything, our holders are exposed to it. Plus, it's generating revenue immediately for the system.
You know what it is? You know what it is, man, real quick? This is it. This is your round one if you missed pTGC. This is your round two. You had an ability to buy in, and you can't say if you were in Pulse Chain this whole time, you didn't know, let's just say you didn't know who I was. Because I was on a fucking roll at that time. PDI, Atropa, Teddy Bear was the hot shit. And then I announced pTGC. So if you didn't get into PDI, understand. If you didn't get Teddy Bear, understand. But what the fuck's your problem if you didn't hear the guy that's calling all these crazy bangers about pTGC and you decide not to ape for whatever reason? That's fine. That is okay. That is your mistake one. This is round two.
Yep.
Yep. It's not only round two. It's round two with a phenomenal founder, an amazing community, almost 3 years of corporate level KPIs. And it looks like it just bottomed at a $20 million market cap.
Yeah.
And is now double that in like weeks.
And we yelled. Did I not yell in his face at that time? I said, too, also, hey, we're sitting at a 25 mil market cap. The absolute most I see this thing going down is 20. And then it'll play around with 30. And I said, it'll probably correct from 50. And then you're going to want to get back in at 20 and ask, can I get back in at 20? Like, you think it's going to go lower? Like, it's the same shit.
Yeah,
how many people, Mando, Prairie, Zen, how many people, give me an estimate. How many people say to you,
you're in my DMs right now like crazy, bro.
How many people have said, do you think we're going back to 25 and 20? It's the same. And we preached this in these spaces to the same people. And they just sat there because they were afraid, they were scared. And now they're excited. But you ready for this? I get you if it goes back to 25, they're going to get scared again.
You want to know what's awesome, B? Is that we've added like 1,000 new holders.
No, it ain't happening. 20, it ain't happening.
20 million market cap.
The low is in. It ain't happening.
Yeah, this is what people don't understand. We added like 500 to 1,000 new holders down there, dude, and that's their entry point.
It ain't happening. It's not even. I won't say it's not possible because like Pulse Chain could just like really shit the bed. But the lowest I see Pulse Chain going is 5 zeros and a 5. And we're like, what, 40% from that? It ain't happening. You're not getting it. Because there ain't nobody selling at these levels. And the only way PGC goes down is if Pulse Chain goes down. And the furthest I see Pulse Chain going down is 5 zeros and a 5. I don't think it's happening. It might happen. You ready for this? It might happen. No, you ready for this? It might happen. You might get a $20 million market cap pTGC again if Pulse Chain goes to 5 zeros and a 1. And I guarantee you, if Pulse Chain goes to 5 zeros and a 1, you are not buying shit.
They won't do it.
I guarantee it. Because you couldn't do it when it hit 1 the first time. So if you couldn't do it then, and it drops down to 5 zeros and a 1, which there's no way that's happening. But if some crazy thing happened and it goes down to 5 zeros and a 1, I promise you will not buy. And the chances of that happening are so slim, in my opinion, at this stage in the bull market, because I think we got one more drop left, and it's not even going to be as big as a drop as everyone's expecting. And they're all going to get wrecked because they're going to think it's going to go down to like 40, 55, 50, and everyone's going to be like, it's going to go 30, it's going to go 20, it's going to 20K and pray. You know, it's going to have a couple of these magical numbers, and they never get it. Never get it when you're expecting lower. They're not going to get it, and it's going to go back up, and you're going to fuck up again because you haven't figured out what it takes for you to win after you didn't win in the last bull market. That is the narrative of this story. Told you it was going to happen, bro, and it happened.
Great monologue, B. What do you have to respond to that, Ted?
Yeah, I think just circling back to the original question, you know, this is the second opportunity to kind of look at what you did last cycle and correct. You know, I think even people who did the cycle really, really well still have corrections and improvements, right? Like if you killed it, I'm sure you could look at the last 2 years and say, hey, I still want to do better this coming cycle, and, you know, write it down or mentally note it, whatever you need to do. But, you know, there's a lot of people, I think, that played the cycle not as they wanted. They expected more. And if that was through meme coining, you know, maybe they made wins, but then also made a bunch of losses. And I think there's corrections that you could do there. I'm not too much of a meme coiner. I think it's a difficult space that's majority ran by people who are really, really good at it. So for the average person, you know, someone who is even still waiting for Richard to pump the bag for it, pTGC is just the easy solution because you're exposed to its own growth. You're exposed to a sub-community that has mechanics and code that pushes price up, and obviously onboarding, like you said, we picked up like 1,000 holders in the last few months. But then also, if Richard does do what you think he's going to do, you win so hard. You're done. You killed it. So you win either direction things go. And then also back to the meme coin thing, like we're always looking for new speculative pairs to get into the system. So you technically are exposed to that stuff too. And you don't even have to lift a finger. You can focus on your job. You can focus on your family, all the things that matter in the meantime.
I'll give my lesson. Can I give my lesson? Yeah, go ahead, guys. He said I'm gonna give my learning lesson.
Is that we haven't even gone into a situation yet, and I'm just gonna say this and pawn it off to you. I'll hand the baton off to you, B. We haven't even seen the machine of the Gray's currency turn on.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, this is a fact. When you see millions of volume going through this system, your eyes are going to pop out of your head on what happens to this system. That's when Grays can just do anything it wants as a DAO. That's when Grays can launch its own meme coins. It can invest in anything it wants and add it to the liquidity web. It can be a system on chain that just creates the best of everything. And everybody wants the next, whatever the Grays launches and puts it into its web, or whatever the hell
launch
it
pad
wants to do, because it is going to be making so much freaking money.
It could be a launch pad where we literally say we'll buy up
the DAO
5,000, 10,000 of your coin if you launch on.
We haven't even hit the point of what do we do with all this capital yet, to a degree. Like obviously it goes back into the system and it goes to buy and burns, but there's so much that is on the horizon that if there's a blip on the radar of this thing, I just wanted to put that out there.
He said learning lesson. And absolutely, I smashed it last bull market. I didn't smash it to the extent where I wanted to be because I put too much trust into Richard Hart. It's that simple. And And for me, I mean, I'm thinking like stupid numbers that'll make your jaw drop. So what did I do wrong? I smashed it on pulse chain. Like, I killed it. Like, I had a pretty damn good bull market. Absolutely smashed it. But you ready for this? In December, I'll throw out personal information. I won't give numbers, but I'll throw out personal information in my learning lesson to literally show you that I put the money where my mouth is when I speak. When I'm speaking this alpha and I'm talking to you guys, I speak nothing but truth because it's just what I do. Everyone tries to prove me wrong in Spaces calls, and they have such hard trouble doing it because I just speak the truth. It is what it is. If you don't lie, you can't get caught. It's just that simple. Yep. So what did I do? Then I sat back and I said, okay, what the fuck did I do wrong last bull market? I left way too much on the table by holding pulse chain.
I knew you were going there.
Yep.
You have no idea the amount of money that I sacrificed for pulse chain. None of you have no idea. You don't know the big groups that I have within the Ethereum ecosystem. If you can find it, go back and look at how much Shiba Inu was sacrificed for this ecosystem. That might give you a hint. But it also might give you a hint of the people that are following me in the background. So when they hear me talk about different coins on Pulse Chain, best believe they're all about getting in. They get it. I've got people that I haven't talked to in years hit me up and said, bro, you flopped on Pulse Chain, but you absolutely killed it with pTGC. Thank you. You don't even hear from them because I don't even hear from them because they're not even on Pulse Chain like that. These are facts. So what the fuck did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I held way too much in Pulse Chain. Yep. So I said, why the fuck would I do this again? So I was like, nah. Because what happens? I go back to SAT price? I get 10x SAT price? Hell no. That's not what I'm doing with this lot of money for this bull market. Once again, I smashed it. I killed it. I'm fine. I'm absolutely good. I love how my last bull market played out. There could have been some changes. I could have cashed out more above a penny on PDI. I could have cashed out more, but I killed it. And by killing it, I'm talking like I never saw a lower low in my portfolio when I put in fucking Pulse Chain. Not even close. So I smashed it. But it could have been way bigger and better. And that's what Zen's saying. So even those people who smashed it need to look back and say, what could I have done better? Why? And I looked at myself, I said, why am I holding Pulse Chain right now? Well, because Richard might pump it. Well, why the heck would I do that again when I was wrong about that the first time? Once again, it goes back to how my thought process goes. I'm just telling you my thought process. I'm giving it to you. So it's not financial advice. I'm telling you literally what I do. So I said that. I was like, no. I've seen Pulse Chain go up, and I've seen pTGC go up higher. So dude, if I have that data,
from the bottom, down 90%.
Forget that, man. Though it's not even that number. It could be the number where it got a 6x, and we went from like 15 to you know what I mean? Like it's you don't even have to go that. You can go right now today's number where we're up 2x and Pulse Chain's down. So like, why would I be holding this Pulse Chain in my hand right now, and it's down? Because Richard Hart in the community, it doesn't make sense. You cannot make sense of it. It's that simple. Well, because it was the SEC, and that's what brought the price down. Really? Because the SEC case got withered away, and the price still didn't go up. So give me a reason why I should be holding. And this is the thing. You have to separate yourself from the community. PvP. Remember I said PvP? And you literally have to be real with yourself. And then this was the icing on the cake. This was the icing on the cake. I'm like, pTGC is like 5 to 1, 6 to 1. I'm like, doesn't it make sense to take a loss on this pulse chain and put it into something else that can go up against it and still I don't have to pay any taxes? And I was like, give me a reason why I shouldn't take a loss on my taxes. Don't have to pay any taxes during the bear market of 2026 and still come up on top. How do I win no matter what? How do I be a genius if I'm right and be a genius if I'm wrong? Well, I'll take the loss. I'm down on it. It's cool, but the ratio is right. I take the loss. And then I don't owe any taxes this year for capital gains.
So what do you mean is you sold your pulse chain? You took
all you gotta do is swap it. You don't even have to, in crypto, this is not financial advice, this is not tax advice. You don't even have to put it into pTGC. You don't even have to, you can put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum or just freaking swap it back into Pulse Chain. And literally save yourself on some taxes.
Yeah,
so I did that.
You lost hard. Yeah.
So I did that. And then I said, but wait, man. I won't say how much. I won't say what that amount is or what that percentage is. But a percentage of that, I was like, man, why the fuck would I put in the pTGC? Because it doesn't make any sense to be holding this much in freaking blah, blah, blah. So then all I did was swap a percentage or whatever that is back into pTGC. And now it's sitting up 15 to 1 naturally. So my thing is, if I did all of it, if I wanted to, I could cash out that amount and fucking buy back my pulse chain and have 3 times more pulse chain without even a hiccup. So that means when it goes back to SAC price, I'm at a 3x. It's all math. Or maybe I did a third of my pulse chain and I 3x that amount. And guess what? I doubled my pulse chain. Even at these levels. But pulse chain hasn't even moved yet. pTGC hasn't moved yet. The bull market hasn't even started yet. And I'm already winning. So there are different ways you can look at it and say, I am going to win out of this market, and I'm going to improve based off of what I did last time. And the next bull market, I'm going to kill it even more. This is the stuff. You got to go deeper than, I love Richard Art products, and I love Richard Art. Guess what? There's thousands of other people saying the same thing. You need to do the opposite. So you got to figure out what that is for you and tweak it so that you win. But I was telling subscribers this also. I was like, guys, it's 5 to 1. I don't think this is going any lower, man. Like, and so many people cleaned up on that thing, on that bounce.
Sweet.
And here's the crazy thing. I don't even think 15 to 1 is that big. We are right at 20 to 1, and we've seen that, 3 times already? 2 times already? About to go up for the 3rd time at that level?
Yep, 3 times.
It's going to surpass it. It's resistance right now. But guess what? The more times you hit resistance, guess what happens? It gets weaker. It's like a brick. You hit it with a hammer one time, you're like, you're not getting through me. You hit that same spot. Oh shit, that really hurt. You see the crack. You hit it the 3rd time, it breaks through, and now you don't know how far that can go. 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 100. Maybe pulse chain comes alive, 200, 300. So what you saw my little 5 to 15, yeah, if you didn't do that, I'm ahead of you. But guess what? You have an opportunity to be ahead of people while it's at 15. Because you know the same thing that happened with the ratio? You can literally compare it to the price. Anyone that got in the $100,000 market cap is killing it over anyone that got over $1 million market cap. Anyone got in the $1 million market cap is killing over the person that got over 50 million market cap. 50, 100, even 100 to 200 million market cap. And then 200 million market cap, and then topped out at 380 or wherever it topped out. But that's the same thing right now with the ratio, not the price, but the ratio right now. The low was at 5. You should have gotten that 4 or that 5. You should have got that. You didn't get it? Okay, I understand. You didn't understand. You get it. Now you want to go back and look at all your stuff. I understand that. Okay, now you have a chance. Now you get it. You get it. If you're listening in here and you don't get it, that's your fault. I don't care. It's just your problem. We got 58 people in here watching. We got 6 other either haters or bystanders or people who love to hate on pTGC but don't want to show their faces. The other listeners, yes, I'm talking about you guys. Yeah, you have an opportunity too. So you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Like you gotta change it up. Everybody in here did something wrong last bull market. Figure it out and fix it.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, and just to kind of bring it back to my main point at least, is everyone who got into pTGC at the low levels of the market last cycle, and there was multiple of these opportunities. You know, pTGC would go up and Pulse Chain would consolidate, which would then equal a pTGC consolidation, or in general, just a market consolidation. Every time we're at those low levels, which we're pretty much at it, Pulse Chain's at all-time lows pretty much right now. If you just took a portion of your portfolio and went into pTGC with it and just waited for the uptrend, like, you smashed it. You know, it was at times 100x moves. Like, I think, you know, the easiest example I always think of is at one time, and this was months after launch, literally months, we had a retracement one time down to a 500K market cap. I specifically even remember a conversation I was having with Mando at the time. This was like a month or so after launch. And then a few months after launch, we consolidated at a 5 mil market cap. And these were like some of those low ranges. In 13 months, we went from a 5 mil market cap all the way up to a 450 mil market cap in 13 months. This is with Pulse Chain doing give or take a 5x, but we pulled off an 800x.
And to top that off, we're sitting in a daily time frame, cup in hand, though. The target for that,
and
the
just
target
to
from
correct
that
what I was
is,
saying, that was from the sorry, real quick, that was from the 500K all the way up to the 450 mil market cap.
You said that was an 800x on your Pulse Chain?
No, 800x in USD.
Gains, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But actually, in Pulse Chain, that probably was bigger than that, right? Had to be.
No, because we got a 5x multiplier from Pulse Chain. So
from 100K? No, that's gonna be way more than that.
So the time frame I was talking about is we pumped up to a few million market cap, and then we came down to like a 500K market cap. And within 13 months, we went from that 500K market cap all the way up to 450 million. So that was an 800x to your USD. In that same time frame, Pulse Chain did like a 5x. So we got that free 5x multiplier. So without Pulse Chain in ratio, we probably did close to, you know, a 100x or a 90x against Pulse Chain. So you would have 90x'd your Pulse Chain. But with that multiplier effect, you know, that's what's so powerful. And that's kind of what I want to keep bringing up is I'm a believer in Pulse Chain. I believe Richard will make his chain successful. I believe in him. I believe in this blockchain. I believe in the Pulse Chain community as a whole. I think we will have our time. But we can be successful with or without that. So if that time does come and Richard does pump his chain, this is what a lot of people are afraid to get out of RH cores for. They believe at one point that ETH will come over the bridge and it will pump. Or at one point we'll hit a bottom and we'll start trending upwards again and people will FOMO in, whatever you think is going to happen, you can still be exposed to that, but be in a product that is mathematically set up correct, is ran by a very strong and passionate community, and has a chart that's technically uptrending, and I believe is going to make new all-time highs this cycle, and be a part of that group of only 20 tokens that exist in the world. Currently sitting at a number 500 in the world, and I believe we're going to be knocking on the door of top 50. You can still be exposed to anything Richard does on the chain with being exposed to a sub-ecosystem with this setup where we can actually control our own destiny. And if you look at what you did last cycle and you didn't kill it, just look at the products that did kill it. And then ask yourself, is there a new opportunity to get in right now so I can be a part of the team that's going to kill it this coming cycle? Because you do have the opportunity in front of you right now. It's a 90-95% dip from the all-time highs.
What were you going to say, B, about the daily time frame cup and handle?
Yeah, it's a cup and handle right now, which is a very, very bullish pattern. We're not breaking down. We're going up. We're ranging, like Zen said, but we went straight down. We chilled that 20 mil market cap, and then we went straight up, which is your cup. And now we're basically flagging out, and that's the handle. That target, you ain't got long, but that target is not financial advice. It's not a sell target. This is nothing, but that is over a double from here. So we can easily go from 40 back to 100 mil market cap fast, just as fast as we went up from 20 to 50 on a couple and handle. It's basically saying all those people who sold are in decision right now. If those people did not buy at 20 mil market cap, which I know they didn't, I know they didn't sell at 40 and 50 just to buy at freaking, they probably sacrificed that money. So if they're on any games, most likely, if it starts creeping higher than where they sold, they usually buy back in, and that's what the cup and handle represents. It represents a big drop, an accumulation phase, and an instant go up chart. And all those people who sold are sweating. So those are usually the people that will pump you back up to that target of over a 2.5x. You know why? Because right now they have to get in at 45, 50, 55 mil market cap with the tax. And they're going to want at least a double before they even think about selling. That's where you get your target of 100 to 110 million dollar market cap on a cup and handle. So if ProveX doesn't do its thing, or ProveX does it slower, which it looks like it would do anyways, because it's a low volume pump, and Pulse Chain's not doing it, and you're afraid that you're sitting in USDC right now because you're hoping it goes back down to 25, 20 mil market cap, and it starts creeping over 50, you're making moves.
Yep.
You're going to make I know what you're thinking before it even happens. You know why? Because all a chart does is measures buys and sells, and it tells me what you are going to do. And you will make a move as soon as we cross over 50 to 55 mil market cap, and you're going to feel happy about that move. But guess what? That target, I know you're not selling until at least 100 to 110 mil market cap. Minimum. Minimum.
Sitting nice and tidy. That's for sure.
Minimum. I know you're not selling there. And when we go back over there, that's when the whole chain realized, fuck, they've already 5x'd. And Pulse Chain hasn't even went anywhere. Shit, they're almost they're like 3x away from an all-time high. And Pulse Chain, they were right. Let me get on board now at 100 mil market cap. I'm going to ride this bad boy because it is going to $1 billion. And guess what? That 100 mil market cap person that finally realized that we were right, they ain't selling to at least a 200 mil market cap. They're going to want at least a 2x. And then when they start talking to their friends, they'll get in that 200 mil market cap and ready for this. They ain't selling for at least a 400 mil market cap, so they get their 2x. You're looking at an 8.5x from that. And I just gave you a storyline of how this shit works. You're not getting 20 mil market cap unless it goes down to 5 zeros and a 1. It's that simple. So it's just technicals. Especially when the freaking chart gives you a cup and handle from that level. It ain't go. That shit rarely breaks down and goes back to that level. All those people who bought from 20 to 50, I don't think they're going to sell unless they're in loss. They might resell back at like 18, 17 mil market cap because they don't want to lose their investments. But who's going to sell back down from 50 to that? Like, Pulse chain would have to go down to 5 zeros and a 1. And I just don't think you're going to buy a 5 0 and a 1 Pulse chain. You're probably going to want to bridge out a freaking Pulse chain. It's just that simple. And I don't think we're even going down that low. The chance of going down that low is crazy. That's another 95% drop from here. It ain't happening. You've already had your 95% dip. You want another 95% dip? Like, are you serious? So, yeah, I think round 2 has already started, bro. Bros.
We got a question on YouTube from Charles. Do your own research. He says, Roots, what's the TA on that massive W on the weekly pTGC WPLS chart?
Let me look real fast.
You know what? Why don't you give a dog a bone, B, and let us know what your system is telling us right now. For everyone who actually should.
God, bro, you gotta pay for that, man. You trying to get freebies, bro? Damn, bro.
Knowledge shared is knowledge squared.
Damn, bro. Like, that's $30 a month, $1 a day. Keep the bear market away. I came up with that branding, and to the T, it worked, bro. Like, it worked.
Okay.
All right, guys. When pTGC, probably like 3 weeks ago, I've got this tool coming out. It'll probably be finished next week. I've been saying that for a couple weeks now. But
2 more weeks.
But it is a tool that basically takes out all guesswork. You don't need to learn TA ever. It measures some moving averages, some different types of things that I use all the time. You see me using all the time. And it basically tells you when to buy and when to sell. pTGC on a daily time frame has been a complete buy, and it told me that while we were in the 220s of market cap. So I told my subscribers, hey guys, here's a freebie for you. It is okay to buy pTGC and not worry about it going down. So the momentum stopped, and then it started creeping back up, and then the sell pressure basically stopped. I'm pretty sure if we go back, I would have to look at I'm in my living room laying down on the couch, and my computer's in the bedroom. But I'm not going to give the number because that's too much free information. Yeah. But on the 4 hour, it's bullish. On the 12 hour, it's bullish. On the daily, it's bullish. And it's very close to being bullish on the 3 day. When we break out of this cup and handle, and it does play out, if it plays out, it's going to be bullish on all time frames except for the monthly. Yes. So when it's bullish on the 3 day time frame, on average, it's bullish for 3 to 4 months.
Oof.
And that's just history.
And
I've got data to show that. I've got data to show where Bitcoin, it becomes bullish for 1 to 2 years. So you know when to buy and just chill. If that's what you want to do. If you want to be a crackhead day trader, you can trade on the hourly, and it tells me that. So like at all time frames, it tells you. And you can figure out what you want to be. If you want to be the guy that sits and holds and does a couple trades a year, maybe you want to do like a 3 day. time frame. Maybe you want to swing trade. I had a guy on the subscriber say, hey, man, I want to swing trade pTGC. I said, sure. Use the 4 hour. And you can swing trade. And he would have killed it over the last, 5 months. I was like, you could have doubled here. You could have sold here. You could have doubled your coins here. You could have sold here. You could double your coins there. And you can do that if you choose to do. pTGC loves you for that.
We love.
Please. 100% do that, bro. It's got no hate. Please do that. You'll be looking like P Tiger going all out the wrong time. No, I'm just but that was a joke. But no, it wasn't. But you got you know, it's saying buy right now, and it takes a lot. pTGC would have to go down a lot for it to say sell. But even a sell right now, there's not enough momentum to make it go down to that 20 level, because for most people, that'll just be a hold, because the momentum hasn't swung up high enough for the momentum to swing down crazy enough to go create those new lows. And that's why I say you're not getting it, because the momentum hasn't even started to the upside yet, based off of history.
Well, B, if Zen, if you could tell me on the weekly, when we kind of bottomed over the last 4 to 5 weeks, 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever, does the system that Shaka created tell us how many users have been added in the last 8 weeks?
No, not yet. It's
last 2 months.
Information. We have probably the data up to 2 months at this point.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
next
2 months.
time frame.
Can you give us what do you think we've added in the last 2 months, which would be 8 weeks?
So it doesn't show it on the site. It's going to populate the information when we hit 3 months.
right.
But if I had to guess, I would say around 400 to 500 new users in the last 2
Okay,
months.
so B, 400 to 500 new users in.
Well, users don't necessarily. Yeah. Wallet holders doesn't necessarily mean it has. So when you're looking at a chart and you're measuring buys versus sells, because that's all its candlesticks show you. It's just buys versus sells.
Yeah.
When I tell you there's not enough momentum to take it below that, think about that real quick. So why would there be momentum to go down?
You have a lot of people that are wanting to sell.
Correct. So if they bought it at 25 mil market cap, that momentum, if it stalled here at this 50 mil market cap, that stall, every single one of those people that bought on the way up would have to sell at 50, 40 mil market cap. We know that doesn't happen because people don't buy tops and sell, or buy lows and sell tops. They just don't do that.
You're not going to look at this chart and want to sell it here. Yeah.
Correct. So the momentum, when you look at my indicator, the momentum is saying we haven't even started the momentum to the upside yet, but it's telling you to buy. So 400 to 500 wallet holders doesn't mean anything to me unless you say how much percentage of supply did those 4 or 5 holders buy, because they could have bought 10, $50, and that's just not enough momentum. That's not enough money to even take us back to 50. So it really matters of how much those 400 or 500 people bought in that time frame and what percentage of supply they have. Now, reality, what would create momentum? Now, I don't have this data because this would be futuristic and this would be guesswork. I'm not in the game of guesswork. I'm in the game of confirmation that something's going down or going up. I made an example on my subscriber group. You saw that in live times with Molt yesterday, Mando, if you were watching the live stream, where I talked about the doji, and I said, do not sell that doji as soon as you see a doji, because it doesn't represent what is going to happen. It warns you. It says warning is going to happen. If you sell this doji, you could get absolutely wrecked. If it goes above the wick of the doji, it's going up. If it goes below the wick of a doji, the warning says sell. It's that simple. Guess what? literally 3-4 hours later, it goes up above the doji and just goes on to the next level of market caps. So I'm into confirmation, not guesswork. But if I had to guess, once again, I'm just letting you guys know, this doesn't mean it's a call. Even though I'm really good with guessing where things could be, I'm not going to be right every single time I'm making a fucking guess. Like, we all know that's just a thing. Like, it's just not possible. So if I had to guess where the momentum would hit, it would probably be 100 mil market cap or a little bit higher. Because then those 25 people 4x their money. Anyone that got in a 50 mil market cap 2x their money. And if someone was like, oh no, man, I want to get out, that $100 million market cap is enough to take a bunch of sell pressure to bring it back down to that level. But you're not getting that level from here. And there's no guarantee you get down from there, because what happens then? The market starts getting a little more bullish. You start changing your mindset. And you're probably not going to sell 100 either. So it all comes back to that.
And it just makes perfect sense, because anybody who's a crypto dude knows where we are in the cycle.
Yep.
And if you're holding pTGC, you know what it is. You know that we only have a certain amount of time before the cycle begins to the upside.
To really start.
Who in the hell is going to sell a copious amount of their pTGC bags right now, knowing what this is and the timing of the cycle? So if they're selling, they're just selling to pay their rent.
Which is not their whole bag, unless they put in to pay their rent, which is not the majority of people sitting in the bear market right now. You don't have no money to put in, so it's fresh capital.
About anybody who's in the top 50, right? That could actually impact the chart. Nobody in the top 50 is sitting here going, yeah, I'm going to dump the shit out of my bags right now. Nobody, dude. Because it makes zero sense.
So it's a buy, man. And you want to ask what it looks like on a weekly, what W's mean on a weekly. W means massive on a weekly. I haven't checked that chart out yet, but to answer,
it's a huge W on the weekly.
Yeah,
it's enormous.
It basically it's a W. The left side.
Well, here's the reality to the W. It is a lower high and a lower low. So it is actually officially still considered to be in a downtrend.
Sure.
Here's the funny thing.
Okay.
this is how you get tricked. This is no. This is how you get tricked, and this is how you get trapped in crypto. If you look on the weekly, it went from 4 zeros and a 8.5 all the way down to a 3 zeros. No, did I say that right? No, 3 zeros and an 8.5 all the way down to 4 zeros and a 5.8. Here's the reality of this, though. We have created a higher high, but we have not created a higher low to make it officially an uptrend. We can go all the way up to 3 zeros and a 6 and still be considered a downtrend. You know why? Because we have to create a higher low. So if you think this is low, we can go all the way up to 3 zeros and a 6, come all the way down to 3 zeros and let's say a 3, just to create our uptrend, which is another 2x from here. This is the trickery in crypto that puts people in traps, because you don't know how high it can go. Matter of fact, it can go up and you realize you're looking at the W. How about you zoom out a little bit further? Guess what? What if the W actually starts at the week of February 17th, 2025?
And this is before we talk about the fact that the assets in the index are at all-time lows.
So what if the W goes up to, and this is just me not fucking around, because if you look at the W that you're looking at, it's a higher low with a low, or excuse me, it's a lower low with a lower high with a lower low, and now we're in a higher high. Now I want you to go zoom out all the way up to the all-time high. What do you see? Lower low, lower high, lower low. What if we go to a all-time high just to create our higher high, and our all-time or our higher low is at 4 3 zeros and an 8 5 over the next 6 to 8 months? You'd be real salty you didn't buy it right now. Because the higher low is at an 8x from now. This is what makes this asset very tricky with TA, is because actually it's official, you know, on a lower time frame, it's actually still in a downtrend. But you could sit there waiting for an uptrend for fucking a long time, because it's, you know, no one says where it has to create the higher high or where it ends. So I think the weekly is a little too embellished to look at right now. I think what's better is to look at the 3-day, and you can cut it down a little bit. But even the 3-day, oh gosh, even the 3-day can actually go up to 3 zeros and a 5 5, and probably come back down to like 3 zeros and a 2 5 for a higher low, only to be officially in an uptrend. So we're actually in an uptrend on the 3-day officially. We are officially in an uptrend on the 3-day.
So a lot of what you just said, unfortunately, but it's just a fact. A lot of what you just said, it does go over an individual's head because they still don't understand the nomenclature. You know that. Yeah,
you would have to watch me. You gotta watch me live then.
So
there's no other way.
But just put it, what you just explained, just put it in a paragraph, layman's term sentence. What does all that mean?
All that means on the basic level is what pump you saw just now might potentially could be way bigger. You're probably looking realistically, technically, at least minimum to hit resistance on these longer time frames, a 3 zeros and a 3 5, which is a worst case scenario. Like that's like the
like a 2x of all time high almost.
No. That's a 2.5x from here where we're at right now. Like a 2x from here.
Oh, you mean 4?
It's that 100 mil market cap. Yeah, it's that 100 mil market cap that I talked about earlier.
Yeah, 3 zeros. Yep.
So when you look on the weekly time frame, that shit can go all the way to freaking 3 zeros and a 6 and still be like, so like that's another 5.5x from here. So we do have to create some structure within our chart. But what that basically tells you is this is still considered a bottom. Where we're at right now.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, where this cup and handle is playing out, pretty much the resistance in front of us right now is just right above this handle. So if we break through that 50 mil range,
156.2. We break above 1562 and close above there, it's go time. There's no more sellers.
And that's right above the handle, right? I'm not looking at the chart.
Yes.
Because I put that in the Jumbotron. I was looking at that yesterday. I was like, wow, we're kind of creating a perfect cup and handle right now. And with just some basic, like, trend line and also resistance lines, which was just trading view like indicators, which aren't super great, but still a pretty good tool to throw up there sometimes. They're right at the top of that handle. So if we break through that handle, we had a lot of room upwards to go.
And here's the thing, like he asked about the weekly. You look at the weekly, it's just straight down for a while, which means all those people sold, there ain't going to be no selling pressure.
Yeah, I was looking
There's
at
not a lot of trading back and forth.
So that resistance above our candle is like the daily. I needed to play with the 3-day a little bit, but I looked at the weekly too, and we didn't have much. After we break through here, we didn't have much resistance on the weekly going up for a while.
Yeah, and to really make this, like Mando said, if you don't because you're not watching it and you're just hearing it. Basically, if you look at the weekly, there's one green candle on the weekly. And that was the week of September 8th, 2025. From the top, or two green candles. So from the top, listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The first 18 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 of them were green, and they were elliptic pumps. So what does that tell you? That just tells you there was very little trading going on. So what does that also tell you? That tells you there was a little bit of people buying. More people were selling than they were buying. So if they already sold and there's nowhere to buy, no one was buying there, there's going to be very little sell pressure of people wondering, trying to make their money back because they all sold. Yeah, so there's no resistance whatsoever on the way up because it's nothing but red candles.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize how many users pTGC has actually bought out today.
Yes.
Like a lot of people have been just bought out in profits or not in profits. And the people who are left are obviously pretty strong users. But when you look at the holder count, you look at our market cap, and then you look at how many people own $500 or more. There's 18,000 holders, but only 3,000 people that own $500 or more. Well, where do you think those other 15,000 holders went? We bought them out. The machine had bought them out throughout the last 2.5 years. And even think about where we are on Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is 5x lower than when pTGC launched. So we were able to buy 15,000 people out in an environment that wasn't working with us, was actually working against us. If the environment switches and all the users are mostly bought out besides, people who are holding, but I think a lot of the people that are holding are pretty convicted community members that want higher levels at least, or believe in the system for what it's been built to be, is a store of value system that pays you passively for remaining in the system. There ain't many people left if we break through these resistance levels. And
it's gonna be quick and fast, man. Like it's gonna be explosive. So that's what I mean. There's no green candles on the weekly, which means like for 18 candles, you can have, and this is not joking, you can look at the gold chart, you can look at the S&P chart, you can look at the Bitcoin chart. When you get months in a row like that, which in this situation it's weeks, it might be months too. Let me look at the monthly chart before I say this. Monthly chart. Yeah. We had one from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months. We only had 1, 2, 3 green candles. So that basically subtracts to 8 months. So you got 8 months of downward pressure. You can easily double to triple that to the opposite side when it's only red candles. Like, it's not crazy. So you can look at gold and just see how many green candles gold has had on the monthly chart versus the red candles. But in the bear market, look how many red candles there was versus the green candles. So as long as we're not being explosive yet, which we are not, because you can look at the candles and say we're not really being explosive, we can creep up only to have 8 to 16 like super explosive candles to the upside. You can look at charts from gold from the 1800s, 1700s, all this stuff, and compare this stuff. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to finances, when it comes to trading, everyone has the same mindset when it comes to that. Since the beginning of time. So realize that, in short, what that means is when he's asking about the weekly chart is it looks like it could get very explosive, Because look at the green candles we've had in the past. What happens in the past is likely to happen in the future as long as the asset is a good asset. It has to be a good asset for one. If it's not a good asset, you're not gonna get any rebound or anything like that. But we're rebounding nicely. So
and also that those previous candles was a pTGC that was less distributed than today. You've gotten out tons of those users, more tokens in the dead address, and you have Pulse Chain like 7x lower in price.
Yeah.
Do you guys know? Nobody ever talks about this. Do you guys know if that number one wallet outside of the dead address has ever sold?
Yeah, I don't know. They're definitely very inactive. I know that. But they could have sold. I haven't dug that deep into it.
Okay.
I definitely see them not budge too much. Like, I've looked at the holder count. Or not the holder count, the quantity of tokens look pretty much the exact same for a very
I would be intrigued to see how much that number one wallet outside of the dead address has sold. And it'd be good information to say.
I just had someone text me that's listening, and they said it's never sold.
So it hasn't sold any yield. It's never sold any yield, any nothing. It's just sat there.
Yeah, I believe the person that's listening understood the question and answered correctly.
So bottom line is, if they haven't sold any yield, borderline call that no way. Is it locked? Are you able to see if that address is locked or not?
I believe I've looked at that previously, and it was locked very early on in the protocol for shorter time frames.
Correct. Yep.
Not like the 10-year. So it's a liquid lock.
It's a liquid lock. Yes.
Yep.
So I look at that as like an OA. I don't think no one really talks about that. Now, obviously, that can change and can sell, and it could start moving, and things could happen. Absolutely. But if it went a whole 3 years without selling anything, that actually can be looked at as an OA or an extra kind of burn wallet that's not even doing anything. We don't know if that wallet is going to sit there like that forever. Maybe it starts taking out something small. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it sells. I don't know. But like right now, to go all the way up to a 400 mil market cap, come all the way down and still not budge, like even a little bit. I'm looking at that wallet as an OA wallet, kind of.
So I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize with pTGC compared to a lot of other tokens, a lot of other tokens haven't been tested to the upside. So this user, like you brought up, he's been tested with time. He's been here for 2.5 years. He's been tested with upside. This user has done hundreds of X's. Yeah, he's done hundreds of X's. And then he's also been tested with downside, 95% retracements. And he's never budged in any of those shakeout scenarios.
Which makes me believe. And what is that? How many tokens is that? Or percentage-wise?
Almost 19 billion. It's like 5.5% of the supply.
So he has more.
Yeah, so every time somebody sells, every time someone unlocks early, more goes to that wallet, and that wallet hasn't touched a single thing since the beginning of pTGC.
No, it just constantly.
So it actually it's removing. Yes, that's basically what it's doing. Because I'm gonna say I've sold some pTGC. I'm like, oh no, that ain't my wallet. So like, I sold some. But guess what? When people say, "Oh, it's just a tax token," as it gets divvied out to all these people, blah, 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 this wallet hasn't sold a damn thing. So that's more bullish to think about in percentage-wise of what's available out there and what's it. I would borderline like eliminate that wallet until I start seeing some action with that wallet. So if these wallets aren't selling or doing anything,
I'll tell you this though. I've sold some PTGC, but I haven't sold. The only PTGC that I've sold personally, just to give you a different part of the conversation, is yield. And I only sold a portion of the yield. I've never sold my principal. So selling my yield and not touching my principal, I'm still taking tokens off the market. So that the top wallet is Superman taking tokens off the market. But even somebody who's a larger holder who does sell just some of the yield but doesn't mess with the principal, they're still adding to their percentage of the yield pool, and they're still helping remove tokens off the market by selling, by burning, and by constantly adding more of the supply to their wallet.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's another burn address. In short, like it's a collection of burn. I mean, what I'm saying is his is ultra burn. Like his is ultra, like at a whole nother level. Because what yours is doing is you're taking a percentage of those people's coins that sold or bought, and then you are taking that yield, and then you're distributing that a little more to that number one wallet, but also to everybody else too. So it's kind of one of those things is like you're just making that pool of coins smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller by what you're doing too. It's not as big as of an effect as theirs is, but when you sell, it's a less sell pressure every single time because some person sold to give it to you, and then you sold a portion of their taxes to give to everybody else, which is a smaller portion of sell pressure.
Yeah, and I think Zen, the Explorer, it doesn't take into account when you're looking at the percentages. I don't think it actually takes into account the removal of the supply in terms of the other addresses. So the actual, so in other words, the top wallet at 5.62%, it actually holds more of a percentage because that 13.15% technically doesn't exist anymore.
Correct. Because it's counting the dead wallet as a percentage.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, this thing get real explosive real quick.
Yeah, I think that just highlights just like what Mando was saying. You know, bigger players within the protocol, I think if they're still here, are for the most part wanting to use the system for what it's been designed, or want to at least keep a decent sized bag of their portfolio in the grays as far as a long-term store value system that's better than some of the best ones that have been invented in cryptocurrency. And as we grow, obviously the possibility for these users to live off of their yield become more and more likely because their value of their bag grows, and then volume grows, liquidity grows, makes APY grow as well. Which then all those wallets in a way become diamond hand holders, and that those tokens do not enter circulation anymore. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. There's a question on YouTube. How would a 10x on ProveX affect pTGC's market cap due to our LPs?
It's somewhat dependent on what the other tokens do in the meantime. So if ProveX did a 10x and Pulse Chain did nothing, then we would maybe get a 2x for free out of that or something like that, with a lot of value generation as well. But if in the meantime ProveX did 10x, Pulse Chain did a 5x, Hex did 4x, usually you don't get a 10x on a larger asset without the rest of the market moving up, especially when they're all RH products already. So if you saw one of RH's products moving up, you would maybe consider the other ones slightly moving up unless all the value was coming from the other products, which they have been for the last week. So you have to look at it almost in a percentage of the amount of liquidity that we have with it based on the rest of our liquidity. And, you have to know what your other liquidity pairs are doing at the same time as well. So it's not a simple answer is what I was getting at more.
Sure.
It depends on what all of our other liquidity pairs do. Most importantly, it's what we do, right? So that's one thing that is a huge factor for our ecosystem compared to everything else is our system has everything we need to do our own onboarding and our own growth.
Yep.
So just because Pulse Chain does no X's, that doesn't mean we can't do 5 X's. And then ProveX do its thing if ProveX has a run or whatever.
Right on. And there's another question in the chat. Gentleman wants staking explained to him because he's new.
Okay. Hey, I am getting in the car right now. I'm keeping it live, but I'm going to mute because I have 2 screaming kids. Do you mind explaining that, Banana?
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
So, Mike, this is how the staking works. If you hold pTGC, you're going to be earning reflections. If you want to stake pTGC, you're going to be earning reflections and staking rewards. We found that stakers earn about 160% more than holders. And it's very simple to stake tokens. But just understand what you're doing before you do it, which is why you asked. You go to the new D app, which is goptgc.com. You connect your wallet and select the staking. You got to go to the staking section, which I'm not going to show you live while I'm talking. And you can stake any tokens that you hold liquid in your wallet. Just understand that when you stake your tokens, there is a 1% penalty if you end your stake. So you want to know that up front. But that's kind of the warning. Just know that in advance. The great news about pTGC staking is it's like a liquid stake. There's no time commitment. You can have 1 stake per wallet, no time commitment, and you can claim your rewards at any time. Your stake, like your reflections, go straight to your wallet and start earning reflections. Your staking rewards need to be claimed. When you claim them, they go to your wallet and start earning reflections. You can claim your rewards at any time. I recommend just once a week, because if you do it any more than that, you're really not, it diminishes the power of compound interest. I think that's about all there is about staking. Does anybody have any other comments about it?
No, the system is very intuitive. There's a 1% fee to end the stake. Like Prairie said, you're liquid in your stake. It's not like you're locking it up for a time frame. Like Prairie said, you can claim your rewards at any time. The pTGC ecosystem gives you freedom. That's what's so nice about this suite of smart contracts. You're free to do whatever you want. And then if you choose to lock your tokens, obviously that's a different question. If you choose to lock, you hold and you stake, then the next tier would be to lock. You definitely don't want to lock unless you understand how the locking mechanism works, but we won't get into that right now. But it's the most freedom type staking rewards, trustless APY system that you can get. And one of the best parts about it is the security. The tokens never leave your wallet.
There you go.
You always have self-custody of your assets, even when the tokens are staked.
Yes. And you can add to your stake. Like when you claim your rewards, they go to your wallet, and then you can add them to the stake if you want to do that. And there is no transfer fee. You're not paying the 5% fee to stake or end a stake. You pay a 1% fee to end a stake, which goes to all the other stakers. So while you are staked and other people end their stakes, you are earning rewards, which is which is a reason why stakers are earning about 161-ish% more than holders.
Yeah, another bullish thing to talk about too, just we don't need to get in the weeds with it, is just that in terms of the locking, nobody's unlocking their tokens anymore.
Yeah.
So the tokens that are in locks are just in locks because nobody wants to unlock and sell at these levels. They're long-term holders.
Absolutely. Yep, I signed up for that one. I think we'll have unlocks as price goes up. I'd like to see the trend actually of price and unlocks.
The thing, Perry, is with this is that when you look at the chart, the powerful thing about pTGC now is that we actually do have a chart. And that chart tells you the history of this asset. And when you see the asset go from 100,000 market cap to a $400+ million market cap and bottom at a $20-40 million market cap, and now you got to pull different fib levels, and those levels look different, it's a different conversation 3 years later than when it started. For investors, for people that just go off of TA, for people that look at what the potential is. And that's before they even understand the reality of the assets in the index being 5x less than the previous in the chart. The potential for pTGC, it's just kind of it's astronomical what the potential is. The speculation, right? Like the asymmetric risk reward speculation in crypto on this thing, it's just astronomical. And B said something very interesting.
Clip.
B said something very interesting. He said, technically, this thing's still at a bottom.
Yeah.
It's at a bottom, right? So when I look at, okay, let's say I got 10 grand and I want to put it into pTGC right now. But I'm like, it's like the 5 guys in my DMs. You think Mando it's going to go back to 25? You think okay. Let's say you bought it here and you locked in that amount of pTGC and it went back to 25. The difference between you taking the risk that this train doesn't leave the station here and down there versus, well, what is the risk that you didn't buy at this level? And then it went on to go to what the new fib levels are. And you were trying to jimmy with just that little amount of extra. And that's really where people are in their decision-making process right now with this token. Is I'm just trying to eke every little ounce of extra out of the chart versus realizing that technically pTGC is at a bottom and you're just trying to guess the exact bottom at this point, which most people don't win on that trade.
And just for clarity, the big W that I was referring to earlier in the conversation with B was the WPLS chart on the weekly. It's an enormous W if you flip it from USD to WPLS. Not so much in USD.
Yeah, and individuals that are just that are pulse chain people, they've really got to realize that in order for pulse chain and the pulse chain ecosystem to be successful, you got to have things on this chain that are not RH cores, that are successful. You've got to have things that draw eyeballs to the chain that are not just the DEX coin and the dumb pipe gas coin. Ethereum made millionaires on so many different things, and people came over to the chain not because of just Ethereum and Uniswap token, which was duct taped, right? It was other innovations that came and deployed onto the chain. And to be honest, pTGC doesn't just represent an innovation on Pulse Chain. It represents an innovation in crypto, period.
Yes.
And I think that people really need to understand that. There's nothing like this on any other blockchain, period. And even if you tried to do it, you're going to have a hard time. Because in order to do this right, there's some secret sauce. And it also takes a lot of capital that you actually have to give away to the system. In other words, you have to be willing to put money up in a good amount that you're never going to get back out, in the sense of burning LPs and setting the system up.
Millions.
So this is a very important thing to understand.
Yep. Man, and Takshesh, I think, needs some clarity on the golden goose part of pTGC. So this is how I look at pTGC as the golden goose. It produces golden eggs. And if you can be content with the eggs and not slaughter the goose, you will always have eggs from that goose. Doesn't mean you don't take profit, like we just talked about earlier. You know, take some profit. Well, that's your eggs. Just be careful to not slaughter the golden goose. That's how I look at it. Well, gents, we've been on for a little over 2 hours. Zen just went mobile.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm on movement mode now.
Sure.
Whenever you guys are ready to shut it down, I'm ready. I didn't want to stop you guys, so just wanted to let you know I'm still in the background listening, but not currently in a bunch of places to speak.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'll just say, in terms of the golden goose kind of a thing, look at your portfolio, look at what you own, whether you're on Pulse Chain or not. There's a lot of great people in the TG that you can set up a meeting with if you're somebody that's looking into this and you're new. But in terms of this, look at what you own and take a look at what the Grace currency actually is as an investment, as a protocol, and ask yourself, I've asked people, let me put it this way. I've asked people to put across my desk, I don't know how long now, Prairie, it's been 2 years now.
Right.
I've challenged people. I've asked people, come and talk to me about pTGC and bring to me your best token. Show me what's better technically, smart contract wise, incentive wise, design wise, potential wise. Show me what's better. Now, obviously, everything is a speculation in this freaking space, but I still don't have anybody that brings me anything, especially on Pulse Chain. For the most part, people that open up spaces on Pulse Chain, it's just talking about the cores and what's Richard gonna do and ProveX and all this stuff, and what should happen with the coming over the bridge. But the truth is that's not where it is. That's not where it is. When you can have exposure to all of that without even thinking, in a proven suite of smart contracts that's outperformed everything, that's giving you trustless yield, that's hyper deflationary, that's constantly adding revenue streams by adding to the index of everything that everybody on the chain is talking about and speculating in anyway, it becomes a question of, why don't you own it? If you are a pulse chain person, if you're a Richard Hart person, if you're a speculator, if you're somebody who likes yield, if you're somebody who understands tokenomics, and you live on pulse chain with a part of your portfolio, why in the world would you not own this asset?
Mm-hmm.
When it's basically technically bottomed down 95% from its all-time high, and we're 6 months into the bear market. Why would you not start looking at it and potentially DCAing into it if you're living on Pulse Chain? If you're not on Pulse Chain and you're just hearing this, we've got people who are 100% available to, take a call, open up a VC, very high-level conversations we can have with people. If you need anything on that, just come into the TG and ask for, Mando, ask for Prairie, ask for the founder, Gray 369, and we can set something up. That's all I've got for now, Prairie.
All right. Sounds good. I pulled up, just before we go, I pulled up my wanted poster that I put on X back in August 2025. Wanted, dead or alive, one token on Pulse Chain that has outperformed pTGC. It must meet this criteria, and there's a reward, which I'll get to. It has to have done more X's, it pays APY, has no admin keys, is 1 year or older, it's got some longevity, and it has to have greater than $10 million in LP, $5 million burned. And the reward is 10 million PLS. Nobody has claimed it. It's been almost a year.
And I don't even have a stipulation on what I've been asking for people.
There you
and
go.
I've never had one person come across my desk and say, hey, this is better. So, it is what it is. Let me just end it with this. If Richard Hart, if Ethereum goes to 10,000 and Richard Hart takes a certain amount of money and pumps his blockchain, this token is going to explode in value. It's going to explode in revenue generation. The value of its LPs is going to revalue and explode overnight. And the people who took positions down here locked themselves into more APY, a faster hyperdeflationary token, trustless yield, and much higher valuations in LPs, which means that they can sell a lot more and impact the chart a lot less. Almost 3 years of perfect operation, audited code, renounced code, no admin keys. Everything's designed properly the way that it's supposed to be defined from the DeFi standpoint of a product. Everybody on Pulse Chain knows what this thing is. And if you're on Pulse Chain and you think Richard's going to do something with his chain, the Gray's currency owns everything that Richard's doing in its index, and it's adding to it, and it's also beginning to add legacy now. So you're not just exposed to Richard Hart stuff, you're now beginning to be exposed to Ethereum. You're now beginning to be exposed to Bitcoin and all these different things. There are strategic things happening with the DAO and all of that. No expectations on any movement or anything. There's never that. But at the end of the day, you can see what the system has been doing to benefit its users, in the sense of the smart contracts, the code. It's constantly benefiting its users. So get your questions answered. That's all I got, man. You guys have a good one.
All right. You too. Thank you, Zen.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for co-hosting Banana. Amanda, thanks for coming up. Eve, thanks for coming up and add to the conversation.
You're welcome. Have a good day, Zan. See you, everybody.
See you guys.
Okay. All right. Last call for questions. If you got any questions, Manitokshesh, Charles, because we are off the spaces. And it's Saturday. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, man. So PTGC is the golden goose. And we don't use that terminology a lot anymore, but we still do. It's like at Cycle Top, you should take profit, or at somewhere along the way, take some profit, right? And this is the way I put it. I'm willing to take some feathers from the goose, enough to make a fluffy goose down pillow, but I'm keeping my goose alive. Like, whatever percent, would change your life. Take some profit. But this is not financial advice, but I would be careful about, completely exiting and not having exposure to this asset, because like we talked about, like we just heard, this stinking thing has massive potential because Pulse chain hasn't even run yet. So yeah, right, guys. Staking. Yeah, I think we covered that. We covered it about 15 minutes ago. I think we covered everything. So just rewind about 15 minutes. All right, guys. And you can jump on my stream tomorrow. I'll be streaming about pTGC, going through the whole ecosystem, and I cover staking also in that on my stream tomorrow, which will be at 1 p.m. Pacific on this channel. All right, guys. Have a good Saturday. Have a good weekend. And we'll be on Spaces again on Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. All right. See you guys.